Hello, I'm Maciej Mikos and you're watching World Talks. While Russia relentlessly attacks Ukrainian cities and Donald Trump issues an ultimatum for the Kremlin, Kyiv undergoes a major government reshuffle. Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal will be replaced by Deputy Prime Minister Yulia Sviridenko. And to talk about it, we're joined by Tymofiy Mylovanov, President of Kyiv School of Economics and former Ukraine Minister of Economic Development. Good afternoon.
Hello.
You know perfectly well the new Prime Minister, to be confirmed, of Ukraine. How would you characterize her? Why has she been chosen by President Zelensky as the new head of Ukraine's government?
So I know her well, actually, yes, because when I was a minister, we were looking for a person to lead the labor market portfolio. And we couldn't find anyone suitable because we needed a person who is both conceptual, technocratic, but also can execute very well. And so we were looking for a person, left and right. And eventually someone suggested a lady from Chernihiv who was working there in local government and regional administration. And we invited her for an interview and we offered her a position. And she very quickly demonstrated that she's a fantastic person who can execute and achieve results in very, very difficult conditions. And that was Yulia Sviridenko. And I think recently we also saw her ability to execute and get good results in very extremely difficult conditions. It's during the negotiations between the United States and Ukraine on the mineral deal.
Was it her success?
I think so, because the early versions of the deal were draconian. They were, well, maybe colonial is a better word, where Ukraine was supposed to pay to the US. It was a great deal, so to speak, but there was nothing great for Ukraine in that. And it was very politicized. And at that time, President Trump's rhetoric was very, very much in favor of sort of, siding, maybe not siding with Russia, but sort of, it was just after the fallout with in the Oval Office between President Zelensky and President Trump. So it was extremely difficult. And so Sviridenko was able to de-escalate the tension, get it to the technical level, and achieve a sort of fair deal.
Now, Yulia Sviridenko is currently the country's economy minister. Do you think she should keep the job?
No, I think she will be the prime minister. At least, I mean, what I think about whether she should or not.
You can also be the economy minister. It sometimes helps.
God save me from this position. I mean, it's really a hellish job, especially during the war. Everyone who takes this job during the war is sort of sacrificing themselves. Which is very noble, but I don't have the health even for that or stamina. But I think
I absolutely understand you, but I'm asking whether Yulia Sviridenko should be economy minister and the prime minister.
No. So that would be too much. I think her first deputy minister will become the minister of economy, Alexei Sobolev.
I see. So what will her top priorities be now?
I think her job will be to focus both on sort of integrating economy and defense, and also trying to integrate with the EU. I think these are three fundamental forces. You have the EU accession, you have the war, and you need to maintain the economy. Yeah, I think that's going to be her portfolio.
Right, we've already touched upon the topic. So who'll join her in the key ministerial positions? What will the reshuffle, the whole of it, look like?
Well, there are a lot of rumors and nothing certain until it's voted. I think one peculiar and very interesting, and I think a very smart decision is, at least that's the rumor mill, is that Prime Minister Shmyhal will now lead the Ministry of Defense. And I think this sort of makes sense because Ministry of Defense, it's a sort of a cabinet in its own during the war, and it requires a very professional, very seasoned diplomat or politician.
Yeah, well, it is absolutely the key ministry during times of war, but for some reason, Shmyhal had to go. So What's his position in the eyes of President Zelensky?
I think his position is good. Otherwise, he would be completely, sort of not in the discussion. But I agree that it's very unusual to have a prime minister to go to a minister position and first deputy prime minister become a prime minister simultaneously. But let's see if it works. I mean, everyone is intrigued by this.
Now, some commentators say that Yulia Sviridenko is fully dependent on the head of president's administration, that's Andriy Yermak. Would she have any autonomy in the works of her cabinet?
Also, my take on this is during the war in Ukraine, even though we have parliamentary presidential republic, de facto it's presidential republic, and everyone is dependent on the president, and it's very, very sort of direct. I think people who talk about deputy, so head of the office of the president being somehow a different independent player from the president, I think these people are very mistaken and delusional. So in that sense, yes, Sviridenko is going to be within the hierarchy, but that hierarchy is of the president, not of the head of the office.
Mm-hmm. How do you see the future of transatlantic relations under the new prime minister? You have already referred to the rare earth minerals deal.
Yeah, I think she's liked in Washington and respected, and maybe more than some other officials in Ukraine. I don't mean president or the head of the office. I mean some other ministers. So, and she has proven that she's effective. So I think that's an improvement. And given that where the rhetoric of the Trump administration currently is, and the pivot away from Russia towards Ukraine, with the threat of sanctions and the threat of weapons delivery, I think she's coming in a very good time and place.
Oh, yes, about the timing. Why is it necessary right now to change the government amidst growing Russian attacks, amidst uncertainty surrounding Ukraine?
All right, so the rules of the politics have specific timing to it. First of all, if you're gonna change prime minister, you don't do it sometime in the fall. You also don't do it early in the summer, especially before the Ukrainian recovery conference. So right after that, or maybe August, is the perfect time. Before the fall political season starts, you have more control over media, and it's also, you objectively still have time to prepare for the winter season, especially during the war. So if you were to change the government, you would do it right now. I think that's absolutely, it's basically by the book, by the political book. Now, why do we need to change a government? I think because a lot of ministers are exhausted, and I think it's sort of, there should be a fresh, there's some energy. It's very difficult to explain. I've talked to over the last 2 days to several people who are staying in the government or getting promoted. They're all kind of excited. I haven't seen that excitement, for months in them. They appear to be exhausted, but now they have like a second wind. So basically, it's a little bit naive, but I think the best explanation is that we need to give second wind to a lot of people.
Yeah. So apparently, not all of them are as exhausted as you said.
Yeah.
Well. As you already said, Denis Shmyhal is probably the new defense minister, but where has his cabinet failed? I mean, what is he accused of in the eyes of the of the public opinion?
So the interesting thing that he is not. He's not accused of anything, unlike some other ministers. I know him very well too. Similar to the hopefully soon Prime Minister Sviridenko. So he has been a very technical, very quiet, very sort of non-public Prime Minister who gets things done too, and he's not accused of anything. To me, it appears more of a rotation based on the exhaustion of people.
Mm-hmm. What's the future of Kirill Budanov, dubbed the enemy of Andriy Yermak?
That's an excellent question. I don't think Budanov is going anywhere. It is also true that there is a lot of rumors, both public and private, that there is a friction between Yermak and Budanov. Yes, that's absolutely true. These rumors are in Kyiv, these rumors are in the news, but I don't think Budanov is going anywhere.
And lastly, opposition MP Volodymyr Ariev flagged a potential conflict of interest over Sviridенko's outside teaching work at the Kiev School of Economics, your university. So, given the country's crusade for transparency and, well, its crusade against corruption, is this a problem for the new Prime Minister?
No, I don't think so. I am glad you asked this question. So it is true that Sviridенko teaches at the Kiev School of Economics, and we are very proud she teaches there. It would constitute a conflict of interest in principle if I were her, for example, employee, I had the decision over it. That is not the case because I'm actually leading an American foundation, whereas she is teaching in a Ukrainian institution, which is a sort of Chinese vault from me. But Ariev does make a case. He's in the opposition. And that's another proof that Ukrainian democracy is well and very lively even during the wartime.
And lastly, would you be interested to return to the government if such a proposition arrives?
Some of that, in the past years has arisen, but not recently. I always try to find a very polite way to say no. And this is because it's so bad for health in Ukraine. I mean, I'm simply not cut for that. But yeah, I'm much happier trying to develop the Kiev School of Economics and help the government through think tank.
Tymofiy Mylovanov, president of the Kiev School of Economics and former Ukrainian Minister of Economic Development, was our guest today. Thank you very much. And thank you for watching, and stay with us for much more here on TVP World.